So how do you create your own tools in Photoshop? Tools which are customized and created for your needs. Wouldn't that be amazing? This is not going to be a coding class, unfortunately. However, I can promise that by the end of the tutorial, you will be able to create your own set of customized tools which are tailored to your needs. Those will be the tools that you can click on the tool, use the tool, just click on the other tool and it will automatically switch back and forth between the tools that you have created. Whether it's a crazy tool that creates a line with peanuts or a professional mask cleaning tool, you can create it all. So without any further ado, let's get started. Back in the brilliant world of Photoshop, and to create the toolkit, we're going to use one of the most essential features of Photoshop, and that is tool presets. And I cannot wait to show you some great examples. Now, before we jump into creating some awesome tools, let us understand what exactly is tool presets with simple examples. So here we have a photo, and this is one of the photos that I clicked when I was learning photography from Audrey. This was during Shutterfest. She was doing a class. We were all learning from her. She's an awesome photographer. Go check out her work. And also the model is Ella Kelly. Show her some love. Alright, so here we are again, and let's say you want to sign your work or you want to add some branding to your work, and for that you have created a brush, and you can create a tool for just that brush for a particular size that you determine. For example, we're going to create a new layer here, alright, and we're going to choose the brush, and I'm going to choose the brush which has my sign. So Unmesh branding, I'm going to choose that brush. Now as you can see, this brush is huge. If I paint with it, see how big that is? We don't want it to be that big by default. By default, I want it to be, let's say, 800 pixels big. Alright, so I'm going to set it to 800. By default, I want the blend mode to be normal for the brush. Alright, opacity and flow, 100 is fine. We want no smoothing. Everything is great. Now, just to save this particular tool, all you have to do is to go to Window and then Tool Presets, right down at the very bottom. Now once we go there, now you will see some default tool presets that have been created. You can delete them if you want to, but I'm going to create a new tool preset by clicking on right here. Now it's going to ask you, would you like to create a brush preset instead? No, I'm just going to create a brand new tool just for that brush. No. So you can just name it whatever you want. I'm going to name it Unmesh branding sign. And do you want to include the color? In this case, I have chosen white as the color. So do you want to include this color as the default? Of course, yes. So hit OK. And there you have it. You have this tool. Whenever you want to sign your work, all you have to do is just select that tool and boom, done. No matter what tool you're working with, let's open up the tool presets right there. You can have it open at the side at all the times. So let's say you're working with any other tool like the gradient tool or the healing tool, whatever you're using. Anytime you click on this tool, which is Unmesh branding sign, you will go back to the same brush with the same color, with the same size that you had set before. Make sense? So let's say you had your image open, you were retouching, you did all the work, and at the end, all you have to do is to create a brand new layer. And just inside of the tool presets, you can click on that branding sign and it will automatically get you to that tool and you can just sign your work. Control the opacity if you wish to, do whatever you want. It just gets you to that tool you just created. Let me show you one more example. So I create my YouTube thumbnails originally in 4K. If I have to upload it to YouTube as a thumbnail, YouTube allows for 720p resolution. I can export it that way. If I want to post it on Facebook, I can have a higher resolution, so on and so forth. Maybe you want to post it to your website, but I originally created in 4K. So I know that the resolution is going to be 3840 into 2160. We already know that. Now let's say we want to add some text, and that's the same size of text you add in all of your thumbnails or all of your social media posts. So first of all, what we're going to do is move it to the side, just like this. And this is just to show you guys what it's going to be to create that tool preset. Select the topmost layer first. And now we want to add some text to it. Now, since the resolution is always going to be 4K, we can choose a perfect size. Let's go ahead and create a brand new layer. And now select the text tool right there. Now determine the font and the size beforehand. So the font that I'm always going to use is going to be Gilroy. Right there, you can choose your font by clicking on the drop down right there and then choose the font of your choice, and extra bold is the one that I'm going for the heading. The size, it's going to be 300 pixels, sharp Alignment is fine. That's how it's going to be. The color by default, I want to keep it white. Once you have set it all right, all you have to do is to open up the tool presets right there. If you cannot see it, just go to Window and make sure Tool Presets is checked. And then simply click on the New Tool Preset button right there. And let's name this Pix Heading Thumbnail, right? And hit OK. There you have it. You have the perfect size. You have everything. All you have to do, just click and just write whatever you want. I'm going to write Photoshop, because it's about Photoshop anyway. So anytime you're working with any other tool, no matter if you are working with the text tool and you changed a couple things, so you changed the size, maybe you changed probably the font to something else, and then you're going to create a brand new layer and you want to use the same heading format, all you have to do is to choose that tool, Pix Heading Thumbnail. It will choose the font for you. It will choose the size for you. The color will be right there. And just you have to click and keep writing. That's it. Simple as that. So this helps you create specific tools just for your needs to make your workflow faster. Now, as we witnessed, Photoshop already has a set of default tool presets and it's worth checking it out. Just kidding. So if we open tool presets, have a look at this one, the peanut dash. So if we choose that, have a look what it does. It creates peanuts along your path. I don't know how that is going to be useful, but it's there. Another one right here is circular rainbow. Check it out right there. I'm going to click on it. All it does is that it creates a rainbow along the radius. So I'm going to click and drag. And there you have a circular rainbow, but it's destructive. What if you want to just erase the bottom half of it? It's just not possible. Well, you have to create it on a brand new layer. So let's go back. Let's create a brand new layer. Now keep in mind, the blend mode of this gradient is screen. So if you want to have the same effect, you need to change the blend mode from normal to screen because it's on a separate layer. It's not going to interact if you just change the gradient or the brush blend mode to something else. All right, so let's go ahead and change it to screen. And now you can do the same thing. Just create a gradient, something like this. You have it. Now you can erase the bottom half very easily. You can just take an eraser or create a mask and then just take a brush. Whoops, not my sign brush, soft round brush, and then just erase it. There you have it. You can just control the opacity if you want to. All right, so there are some default ones. You can go ahead and check them out if you want to at your own expense. Now let's go ahead and create some useful tool presets. I'm definitely going to give you 2 examples. However, I highly encourage you to look at your own workflow and create your own tool presets. So here we have a picture of a man in a blue background. So let's say you want to change the background to solid gray and make it black and white and then add some text at the back. Masking is going to be an issue. In this case, for masking, I'm going to use the select color range feature because the background is of a certain color which is different from that of the subject. So simply let's go to select and then color range. Now I had already done it, so it already comes out pretty good. However, all you need to do is to decrease the fuzziness first to something below 10. 9 or 10 is fine. Make sure select sampled colors is checked. Now select the first eyedropper right there. Just change the selection preview from white matte to none in the beginning. With the eyedropper selected, just click on the outside of the subject. Now click on the plus eyedropper and just click, hold and draw around the subject in the blue areas. Simple. Now in this case, have a look. Black are the areas which are not being selected. White are the areas which are being selected. We want just the opposite of that one. So just click on invert. Now we have it. Change the selection preview from none to probably black matte so that you can see how it would look in a black background. Now we need to zoom in and control the fuzziness. You see the blue line right there, it's just not perfect. So I'm just going to increase the fuzziness. Some of his clothes is also being removed from the selection. Look, it's going black. No problem, we'll fix that later. Hit OK. Now click on the mask button. Now we can simply put up a gray background. Click on the adjustment layer icon and then choose solid color. And we're going to choose a gray color, something like this, and hit OK. Put it behind the subject, click and drag, put it behind. Now we also want to make it black and white. So at the top, we're going to create a gradient. Click on the adjustment layer icon and this time choose gradient map, not gradient, sorry, gradient map. And this creates a very dramatic black and white. Well, not this one, but all you have to do, click on the gradient, choose a gradient from black to white, and now you can click on any one of these sliders and move the diamond to control the dynamics of this one. Alright, that looks better. I'm going to move it a little bit to the left, hit OK. There you have it. It looks pretty nice. We also just want the gradient to be applied to the subject, not to the background. So hold the Alt key or the Option key. Click on the line between these two. Now it's a clipping mask. It's only going to affect the subject. Now, have a look at the mask. It's just not right. If I change the color to red, you'll be able to see what's happening. See, the background is also inside the subject and the mask is not perfect, right? So if you hold the Alt or Option and click on the mask, see, some of the areas inside are black. It should be absolutely white. So what we can do is we can take the brush with white as the foreground color. We can definitely, paint over here. That's nice. However, as soon as we try to paint in around the corners, it just leaks. No matter how careful you are, it's going to take a lot of time, right? So I have a solution for you. Just take the brush, flow and opacity at 100. You can also decrease the opacity if you want to. I'm going to keep it at 40% and then change the blend mode from normal to overlay. Now, when you change the blend mode to overlay, it will only paint on the colors which are closer to white, not absolutely black. It will never paint on absolutely black areas. Now, when you paint, it will never leak. See, no matter how much I'm painting, it's just not leaking. It's covering on the inside, but it's not leaking. So this is a good brush for mask cleanup. And this is good for painting in the bright areas. So you can create a tool preset for this one. So I'm going to set the size to about, by default, I'm going to set it to about 300 pixels. Blend mode should be overlay. Flow can be 40 or 30% depending upon your images, the kind of images that you're working on. We don't need any smoothing. Everything is fine. Now click on the tool presets. Let's open it up and then click on new tool preset. Would you like to create a brush preset instead? No, I just want to create a brand new tool of it. Let's name it mask cleanup white. This is for the white. You can also create a similar one for the dark areas. White. Include color. Of course, we want to include the color. Hit OK. All right. So we have that. No matter what tool you're working on, let's go to the gradient. Let's say you're selecting something, you're painting something with a different brush and the blend mode is different. Anytime you want to clean up the mask, just click on mask cleanup white. That 300 pixels brush will be selected. Overlay will be selected. Everything is fine. All you have to do, just clean up the mask. Isn't that amazing? Now you can just take your time to kind of clean it all up. And there you have it. Hold the Alt or Option and click on the mask. Perfect. Now let's change the background color to gray and you can add some text at the back. That's totally upon you. Back to example number 1. And if you're into retouching, this tool preset is going to be very helpful to you. So let's say you want to remove the blemishes. First of all, these freckles are absolutely beautiful, but we want to remove anything which is like temporary, like a bruise or a pimple that will go away. So in this case, have a look. There is this thing that we need to remove right there. It's dark. So what we usually do is we create a brand new layer and then we choose any of the tools like the regular healing brush tool and then we cover the whole area. However, there is a way in which it will only cover precisely that blemish. Precisely, very precisely. And the way you do that is by changing the blend mode of this one to lighten. All right. We want to sample current and below. Okay. Because if we choose just current layer, it's all empty. Nothing is going to paint over there. We're going to choose current and below, blend mode lighten. And now when you take a sample, let's say from here, and then you paint over it, only that area will be covered. No other area, because that area is darker than the area that you just sampled. If you sample, let's say, a dark area from the eye, just like this, and you try to paint there, it just won't paint because you cannot brighten anything with a darker color, right? That's why you have chosen lighten. Now you want to save this as a preset. Click on the tool preset button, click on new tool preset, and we can name this remove darker blemishes. There you go. You can also create a similar one for removing brighter blemishes, but you get the point. how this can simplify your workflow. So that's how tool presets can help you make your Photoshop life very, very simple. You can export your tool presets if you want to. So you can click on that gear icon. Once you have created your own set of preset, you can click on this gear icon right there, not gear icon, line icon, no matter what you call it, doesn't matter. All right, you can just load tool presets. You can save tool presets. So let's say you want to create your own tool presets and save it and probably sell it, or send it to somebody else. You can do all of that. Or maybe you just bought it from somebody. Maybe I give you something. You can just load it from here very easily. So you can just reset, load, save, or replace. Do anything you want. You can have a small list, large list, it's all self-explanatory. All right. And now here's an important thing which you should know. So let's say you're working with the brush tool and you only want to see the presets for the brush tool. You can just check current tool only. So for the brush tool in this tutorial, we had created the branding sign and the mask cleanup. Only those two are going to show up. So let's say for the gradient, you had created 4 or 5 tool presets. So you can keep it checked and only those 4 or 5 presets for the gradient tool is gonna show up. But I always keep it unchecked because that allows me to switch back and forth from different tools with different settings very easily. I hope this video helped you. Just keep in mind, all you need to do is to select the tool, set the settings according to you, and click on the new tool preset button, and it becomes a preset. So if this video helped you, make sure to give us a like, and also don't forget to subscribe, and not just subscribe, ring the bell so that you, my friend, don't miss any other future tip, trick, or tutorial. I would like to take this moment to thank all these nice and amazing people for supporting this channel on Patreon and helping keep PiXimperfect free for everybody forever. Thanks so much for all your support. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, stay tuned and make sure that you keep creating.